Capital structure theory. Under capital structure theory, basically two categories are given: capital structure relevance theory and capital structure irrelevance theory. So, under capital structure relevance theory, there are two theories, which is net income approach theory and traditional approach. And the second one is net in capital structure irrelevance theory. We are including two theories: net operating income approach and Modi-Gilani Miller approach. Right? So there are certain assumptions on which the theories are being made. So what are the assumptions? There are only two kind of funds used by a firm. Firm will use only two type of fund, which is debt and equity. Second assumption is that total asset of the firm are given. Means in which total asset is given, total asset can't be changed. We will only change debt and equity mix in our capital. So the degree of average can be changed by selling debt to purchase shares or selling shares to retire debt. Here what we can do, we can purchase debt by selling of shares, or we can purchase shares by selling of debt. Taxes are not being considered. Payout ratio is 100%. So whatever dividend the shareholders are earning, we will pay them out 100%. The firm's total financing remains constant. Here, the total financing of the firm will remain constant, and business risk will be considered as constant. And here, in the assumption, we are also including that the firm has perpetual life, means firm will not stop. In that case, firm will go on. So now we will start the first theory, which will come under the category of capital relevance theory, which is net income approach, right? So in this theory, capital structure decision is relevant to the value of the firm. Here what we are considering, see whatever capital structure we are designing over here, it will be relevant for the value of the firm. So NI approach says when we increase the financial leverage, which is what debt, when we increase debt in the capital structure, then it will decrease the weighted average cost of capital, and it will increase the value of the firm, or we can say market price of ordinary share. And vice versa will happen when we decrease the debt content in the capital structure, right? So in that case, what will happen when we decrease the debt content in the capital structure? So overall cost of capital will increase, then the value of the firm will decrease, and the market price of equity share will also decrease. So so we can understand this concept by this graph. Here we can say KE is constant, KD is also constant, right? So when we are, and x-axis shows leverage, y-axis shows cost of capital. So here we are increasing debt content. In that case, what will happen? KW, which is weighted average cost of capital, will decrease. That the NI approach says when the overall cost of capital will decrease, value of the firm will increase, and then share price will also increase. Right? So now here the formula is given, which is value of the firm. So value of firm is equal to what? S plus T. S stands for market value of equity. D stands for market value of debt. Now here how we will find market value of equity, which is NI upon KE. Now here NI stands for earning available for equity shareholders, and KE is what? KE is equity capitalization rate. So now we have to find out what? Overall cost of capital, and the formula for overall cost of capital is EBIT upon value of the firm. Now what we will do? We will do the illustration on the same so that we can understand the concept very clearly. So here is the numerical related to this concept, which is Rupa Limited. Here EBIT is 5 lakh is given and the company has 10% rupees 20 lakh debentures, means KD is equal to 10% and value of debt is equal to 20 lakh. Equity capitalization rate, which is KE, is 16%. Now, what you need to calculate? You need to calculate the market value of equity and value of the firm, and after that, overall cost of capital, right? So now, right, again, we are repeating the things. Just wait. Right, see, in the question, Rupa Limited, EBIT is 5 lakh and the company has 10%, 20 lakh debentures and the equity capitalization rate K is 16%. And the question has asked market value of equity, value of firm and overall cost of capital. Yeah, so EBIT is 5 lakh which is given. Now we have to calculate market value of equity. And the formula for market value of equity is NI upon KE. So how do you calculate NI? NI is equal to EBIT minus I. So EBIT is 5 lakh and interest which is applied on debt. So the value of debt is 20 lakh and 10% of 20 lakh is 2 lakh. So 5 lakh minus 2 lakh will give you 3 lakh. Now KE is given in the question, which is 16%. So first question was market value of equity. So market value of equity is equal to NI upon KE. NI we have calculated, which is 3 lakh divided by KE, which is 16 multiplied by 100. When we calculate it, we will get the value, which is 18 lakh 75,000, right? Market value of debt, which is given in the question, which is 2 lakh, right? Now the second question is, we have to calculate value of the firm. So value of the firm, the formula for value of the firm is S plus T, means market value of equity plus market value of debt. Market value of equity is already given, which is, or which we have calculated, that is 18 lakh 75,000 and debt is 20 lakh. When we add two values, we will get 38 lakh 75,000, right? Now, third question is calculate overall cost of capital, and the formula for overall cost of capital is EBIT upon value of firm. So EBIT is 5 lakh divided by 38 lakh 75,000 multiplied by 100 and you will get 12.90%. Right? Now we will understand the traditional approach. As we all know that NI approach says that when we increase debt content in our capital structure, the cost of capital will decrease and value of the fund will increase. But it does not happen every time. Traditional approach says when we increase debt in our capital, in that case, the cost of capital will decrease, but at certain extent. After this point, when we increase when we increase the debt content, then it will increase the cost of capital.